Well, good afternoon, and a lovely day, a marvellous day, and a terrific day as well. And on this hallowed ground, it's hello to Richie Benno.
Yes, thanks, Tony. Well, if you're watching in Australia, good morning. If you're watching in England, good evening. If you're watching in the Bermuda Triangle, goodbye. Fred's with me. What do you make of England, Fred?
Well, I don't know what is going off out there at all, Richie, and what worries me, the solution is...
Well, you put it so well, Fred, as indeed you always do. I mean, one wrings one's hands, but one's hands are never in, and so one leaves a message, and sadly that message is always the same, as a fellow Yorkshireman would agree, Raymond Illingworth.
Well, I do believe we're going to start again, Henry, and we've instilled some confidence in the side. And as my locals in Spain say, it's much as gracias, muchas Galway.
Well, I think you're right. I think what we need is more Yorkshiremen and more people called Jeffrey Boycott. Isn't that right, Jeff?
Yeah, Yorkshiremen, sorted.
Sorted.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the show. And what a day it's been. A fantastic day when at last Australian cricket went oval-shaped. Twice England's batting collapsed, twice our bowlers clawed their way back into the match. And the great news is that somewhere in Australia there must be an Australian Fred Truman saying, well, I'm sorry, Wayne, but if that is the best that Australia can do, it is time to start playing tiddlywinks. I'm sorry. I think that's all I think. Anyway, for the next half hour, I'll be talking to some of the game's great characters and favourite players, as we have Sir Colin Cowdrey, now a Lord, Jack Russell, now an MBE, and England's coach David Lloyd, now back in a job. And we'll be meeting an England cricket fan who's used to spending time in darkened rooms, as a film critic. And, in a sense, why not? Oh, yes. I think it was that Jim Swanton, or was it Les Dennis? Anyway, that said that behind every great cricketer have been the hands of my first guest. England needed him this afternoon when they were 130 for 6. We've got him now. He's played 49 tests, scored 2 centuries, and he's as mad as the chairman of selectors. Please welcome England's top wicketkeeper, Jack Russell. Now, Jack, we've got Colin Cowdrey on later on, but as Colin was saying, you're a very, very big tea man, aren't you? You're doing rather. We've got you some tea here. Because how many cups do you get through a day?
30, 35.
35
on a quiet day.
We've got 3 for you here. That's the Darjeeling. We've got some Earl Grey for you. We've got a new one, which is the Lord Maclaurin, which is quite, you know.
I'll try that one later.
You can only get that at Tesco's. It's very good. Now, I remember actually that when I did a benefit thing for you about 3 or 4 years ago, and this is perfectly true. We had everyone eating roast beef and Yorkshire pudding, except for you. What were you having?
Tea and beans.
Tea. You forgot something.
Bananas.
Yes. Tea, beans, and 3 bananas.
And bananas.
So, you're a great Weetabix fan as well, though, aren't you?
A little bit, yeah. I have Weetabix for lunch.
Now, how do you like your Weetabix?
Very soggy.
Because in your book,
let's just say
in your book, you say you like your Weetabix
done has to be soaked in milk for 15 minutes minimum.
And you can tell. How long has that been soaked? Would you say, roughly?
14 and a half minutes.
14 and a half. Well, you're wrong, actually. It's been 5 days. But a lot of people don't know that besides the wicket keeping is the painting, which is actually, I think that kind of saved you a bit, didn't it, really?
Yeah. You know, it's disappointing when you're not in the side, and if you, obviously, county cricket, international cricket, as we've seen, there's lots of disappointments.
This one here is you and Mike Atherton in, was it Johannesburg?
Johannesburg, yeah. Just having a quiet chat.
And that was the game in which you took how many catches?
11.
Which is a world record.
I believe so.
So you put that down as your favourite, your big test. Now, obviously, you've been keeping wicket for 18, 19 years. Now, stumpings are hard, but off fast bowlers, they're even harder. This is Dean Jones as a batsman, and you are standing where the camera is now, roughly.
That's my view. Yeah, that's my view.
Gladstone Small's bowling quickly.
Quite quickly.
Stop, David, great work!
Be quite pleased with that one.
Do I get a medal for the high jump then?
He just took off there. So
I enjoyed that, yeah.
You'd moved up deliberately?
Well, because he was being a bit of a pain, was Dino, and he got 50 or 60 and he was taking the game away from us, and somebody had to do something. They were taking control of the game, and Matthew's the other end. He was playing well. I think he got 100.
And he was out of his crease usually?
Well, he normally goes forward. He gets down the pitch, and I thought, well, if he just overbalances just once, I'll get, I might have a chance. And luckily, it wasn't. People asked me if it was planned. It wasn't planned. It just happened like that. I enjoyed that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Russell. Now, while Jack Russell was painting in Antigua, one cricketer was painting the spare bedroom and putting up shelves at home. After spells at Somerset, Sussex, Derbyshire, Leicestershire, Derbyshire again, Surrey twice, and Worcestershire, Dave Podmore is the cricketer's cricketer's cricketer.
Thanks very much, Rory. Missed out Durham there. Well, as I say, I've been a professional cricketer for 23 seasons. As far as I'm concerned, it's been one champagne moment after another. Probably be wrong to say that there haven't been a few downs as well as ups, because obviously there have. To be honest, the way I've been treated by the selectors, sometimes I think if they were to be taken up to Traitors Gate there and their eyes pecked out by ravens, I think they'd be getting off quite lightly, to be honest. But as I say, it's been champagne most of the way. I think the biggest lesson I've learnt in my career, it's the most important piece of equipment you need in this game is a sponsored car. As you can see, this is mine. It's a Mondeo, sponsored by Raypool Ford of Hinckley. Nice people, nice prices. Pretty nice to handle too. It's the sort of thing that quite a lot of cricketers are going for these days. As you can see, I don't know if you can follow me here, Tony, the hundreds crossed off. Those are the tins of dog food that I've been fortunate enough to receive from Value Pet Foods UK of Utoxeter. They got me on 10 tins of run in the Sunday League, so great bunch of guys up there at Value, just by the B&Q roundabout there. Well, that's me. Let's see what kind of kit some of the other lads are using here in the Trent Bridge car park. Well, this is Devon Malcolm's Toyota Picnic, and if you look over there, there's his parking space. So I'm afraid it's the same old story with Dev. I mean, he's barely even in the same car park. Andy Caddick's Peugeot, sponsored by Gliddings, who are very nice people indeed. Probably the premier saloon and light commercial distributor in the whole of the Taunton area. Over here, we've got Alex Stewart's car. Now, as you can see, a few of the lads have been making a mess of that, and Stewie will be disappointed with that, because he's usually very neat in his work. Now that Mike Gatting is a selector, he's obviously got to spend a lot more time at the ground. So it only makes sense for Gat to have this bacon sizzler here hitched onto the back of his vehicle. Fair bit of experience showing there from Gat. I've always had a lot of time for Gat. Take my hat off to him, the way he took the lads to South Africa in late 80s. It's obviously, as far as I'm concerned, a big pity about the political ramifications that took place later on. Cricket-wise, it rained on quite a few guys' parades, and well, political situation there now is completely unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. So, thank you very much, Mr. Mandela. Coming to my office. I spend about 4 months of the summer in here, sleeping probably 1 or 2 nights a week, what with one thing and another. So obviously, good reclining seats, very important. DJ, obviously, spare pants. And under here we've got, well, we've got dog food for Saxon and the boys. But we've also got spare air fresheners. This one is curry scented. It's the Vindaloo, in fact, which is very good for getting rid of the smell of grass. New mown grass, the smell of which I cannot stand. Over here we've got obviously more dog food, but you do actually tend to get through this at fair rate if, like myself, you've got 5 dogs. Saxon, as I say, De Niro, Schwarzenegger, Rocky 1, Rocky 2. Now, behind here, hang on, what are those? Those are hickeys. I don't know who's got mine. Behind here, if I can get this down, we can see the kit bag, and we'll find out what's in there in just a minute.
Now, my next guest is a man who made over 40,000 runs in his career. He's since been made an OBE, a Knight and a Lord. Fred Truman once said of him, he looked better batting against Thompson and Lilly than any other England player, with the possible exception of Fred Titmus. Capped 100 times, will you please welcome the great Sir Colin Lord Cowdrey. So, Colin, you were there today. A fantastic result.
Great win by England in the field, particularly. How they kept their nerve and fielded well. And that catch by Peter Martin, which went up a mile and stayed there for a while.
You'd not like to be under that, really, would you?
Oh, I wouldn't have gotten near it. But he never looked like dropping it. This was a great thing, and it was a very important one to get. Because Shane is a good slugger.
What's been the change? What's been the turnaround? Because a few weeks ago, or indeed a few days ago, everyone was writing off the England side, and yet they came through this time. Is it inconsistency, or do you rate them?
I think we're up against two great bowlers. The first morning of this match, those who are here will remember McGrath bowling like a train, the best fast bowler in the world. At the other end, you got probably the best spin bowler of the century, and that is a hell of an examination. And I tried to think back of all the great players I could think of, I could have put in. Obviously, Hutton and Compton might have coped. But not many could have coped with that combination. It was a wonderful bit of cricket to watch.
So, I mean, were you in similar situations to today when you were playing, when it was right down to the wire?
Well, it was extraordinary. My first series in Australia, when we won in 1955, that's an awful long time ago, we were left 94 to make on a good track. It's extraordinary how chasing a little score is absolutely so nerve-wracking.
There's a lot of talk recently about they need to get harder, need to get nastier, and of course immediately sort of Essex going to the field, and it was Mark Eilert against Robert Croft, two falls to a submission or whatever. You wouldn't go that far. I mean, you had a bit of sledging in your day, didn't you? I mean,
no, we didn't really. No, honestly, we didn't.
No, actually, no. I've got to correct because I've heard this great story about when you were recalled, 1974.
Yes.
Back to Melbourne. You're flown out, and it's Lilly and Thompson, and is it or not true? They always said lie, going, right, we'll sort this guy out. Did you go up to Jeff Thompson and say, hello, Colin Cowdrey is the name, lovely to meet you?
I did.
Can you imagine? They're in the middle. How many people?
Well, the funny thing was, it's most unusual for Test cricket, but I'd never met this guy. See, I was flown out, he was new. I missed the first test, hadn't been into the function or anything. And the first time we actually sort of come face to face is in the middle, where he hurls the ball past me. No rough language or anything, but he was very tough, very rough, tough. One of the fastest bowlers I played against. And this had gone on for half an hour, and the drinks came out. And we had to walk quite a long way just together for drinks. And I said to myself, I better say hello. And I said, no, you can't say hello. And you argue with us, no, you can't say hello, this is a test match, And then you suddenly say, well, it's only England and Australia, well, they're same kith and kin, good God, surely. And eventually, can you imagine, I said something stupid, I imagine we went across, go, Jeff, I'm Colin Cowdrey.
Because Graham tells me when this stuff was flying about this bloody bastard, we got him bad, and you say, oh, he must have heard a bit of bad news or something, this chap. And he said you'd practically go into the dressing room afterwards. Are you all right? He was out there, he was very, very upset. So, I mean, there's room for humour in the game, isn't there? I mean, you were one of the great, I think it was the 74 thing, and the Australia, they'd all had a bit too much to drink anyway, and there was one guy who couldn't even read the scoreboard at the end, was shouting out at you. What was that one?
Yeah, this was the little chap in the crowd. If I can picture the scoreboard at Perth, there underneath it were a few people, and this chap with no shirt on, tiny pair of black pants, little black hat, gnarled face, big suntan, no socks, no shoes, the beer cans piling up all day. And when I'd stayed there for hours getting nothing and after my sort of 14th ball, which hit me on the shoulder and went off a bye, he could stick this no longer, you see. And he gets up and starts shouting, which does me a world of good. He said, misreading my name on the scoreboard through the alcoholic haze, he said, Cowboy! The Cowboy! And eventually, the Aussies were falling about laughing, which was a great help to me. Yeah. And I gave him a little wave. He said, the crowd roared, and he was waving like this. When it calmed down again, he said, I saw your father out here, and he couldn't play either.
But of course, I mean, you had some of the greats in the game, but sort of give you encouragement and coaching. We've got a little clip, in fact, on here of one of the greats in the game, putting you through your paces, in fact.
Right, Colin, and over from John Sow, coming up. Kent v Sussex, vital match.
Oh, it's a nasty ball.
Take one to extra cover. 4. I can reveal to you you've got 4 to win the match with this ball. Lovely. Square drive. Wally Hammond would have been proud.
That's good. We sort of miss a bit of fun, really, don't we?
Do you know, if I could I would love the players today to just bring an element of fun in, not reducing any of the hardness or determination to win. But just imagine if I was batting against Shane Warne and he bowled one or two of those balls no one on earth could play, and you go and play and you miss it by a mile, like I used to do against Ramadan. I think it would be wonderful. I would, if I was batting, I'd look up and say to Shane, you know, I'd smile at him and say, can you aim at the bat or something like that, you know. Unless if you can have that, it makes the whole thing so much more meaningful, and it goes through to the crowds as well. I'd love more fun.
Oh, well, thank you for joining us today, Colin Cowdrey.
Well, I'm Jonathan Agnew and I commentate on Test Match Special, and I have certainly been accused in the past of not being particularly complimentary about Devon Malcolm's batting.
I'm John Etheridge, cricket correspondent of The Sun. Devon Malcolm can bowl fast, but he doesn't always bowl straight.
And I am Joanna Lumley.
So, this is what's known as the coffin. So called because you put your equipment in it. And we got everything in here to get you through a full 5-day match. First up, obviously, itching powder. Sprinkle that into the lads' jock straps. Multi-Fido, you put that in the drinks jug. And some razor blades here for mixing into the sunblock. I like to be fairly well prepared with the practical jokes. I'm a little bit fussy that way. Bombay mix here. Good for pouring into the wicketkeeper's gloves, and very good for putting in the batsman's gloves are these prawns, very popular on the circuit these days. I believe the Hollyoak brothers, men of the moment, swear by giant tiger prawns, but if, like myself, you don't happen to have been born with a silver spoon in your mouth, then something like this from Iceland would probably be your prawn of choice. I believe that Marks and Spencers do a ready-made batting glove with ocean sticks pre-inserted into the finger. But, well, as I say, it's horses for courses, really. But the point is, unless you've got the right equipment, you're going to struggle to be taken seriously as a first-class cricketer. Bombay mix, Bombay mix, Bombay mix. Picture of Pol Pot, Bombay mix.
Did you say Pol Pot?
Yeah, Pol Pot. This dates from the time I was, you can see that, Tony, I was fortunate enough to skipper the Khmer Rouge boys in the Cambodian Breweries Knockout Competition, 1989, or the Year 14 as they call it over there. Yeah, I got up quite a lot of people's goats, probably for going on the tour.
Did you meet Pol Pot?
Yeah, very nice guy, Potters. He's surprisingly knowledgeable about cricket, actually, and had some very interesting ideas about how to crack down on slow over rates. So if you're watching, Pol mate, this one's for you, all right?
And we're joined now by the England coach, David Lloyd. David. You say you've not met before, but we were talking about Melbourne, 1974. Was this the one where you got a corker, a right corker in the middle?
Oh, straight. Daily Telegraph are wonderful, wonderful. A blow in the groin.
Well, actually, so we got Colin at one end, we've got Lloyd at the other, and this is what happened.
Thompson to Lloyd. Can hit badly there.
Was that going fast, David? Was it?
That is rapid. Look, I mean, that is not a glancing blow.
And watch Colin here, he's coming out this side. Oh dear, looks like he's rather hurt there. Watch. Get him a drink of water. Now, that happened to one of your Lancashire lads as well, though, recently.
Andrew Flintoff, under-19s captain.
Yeah.
It was one of those games out in Guernsey. It was just a friendly against Hampshire, and he took a blow there, 17-year-old, in exactly the same place, and he's got it in a place that he didn't even know he had a place. He's come off, and he's got tears in his eyes, and I felt sorry for him. He's come off at sort of tea intervals, and I said, that happened to me. I said, I know Cardigan Connors just hit you at sort of 50, 60 miles an hour. Andrew, I said, do you remember Lillian Thompson? He said, I've never heard of her, I don't know. I said, no, it's not a lady, that's a ferocious pair of Australian fast bowlers. I said, and the Thompson duo hit me exactly where you've just been hit. You can think it an absolute pleasure, Andrew, to have been hit by Cardigan Connor. I said, this has hit me, and I was wearing a pink lightsome. You remember a pink lightsome, don't you? Have you got a pink lightsome?
Oh, it's one of the old ones.
Oh no, that's all right. That's fine. A pink lightsome didn't have this sort of nice cushioning effect which went inside your jockstrap. It was just a little pink piece of plastic with breathe holes in. They were socially challenging with these things after a while. And what had happened is that it's hit me, as I said, not a glancing blow. At 90 miles an hour this way, it's hit me and bounced once, and he's got hold of it again. That's hurt. That has hurt. In any language, that is hurt. And everything that should have been inside the pink lightsome has found its way through the breathe holes. And he's now, I mean, that's why you sort of fall in a big heap. So I'm telling Andrew, I said, that happened in 1974, Andrew. I said, and medically, there's not a lot changed. I said, what you need, and I got the lads, I said, just get a jug full of water. Fill it with water and ice, and Andrew, you've just got to sit there during this break with everything that you've got dangling in there. Yes, I know it'll sizzle. I know it will, Andrew. Andrew, I know, and you could poach an egg in it, probably. But I said, you'll be fine. You'll be able to resume your innings. So he's done the whole thing. Sat there, and he's got his colour back. The bells rang, and he's out to go again. Coming into our dressing room is our off spinner, Gary Yates. Lovely lad, Gary. Bowls a bit of off spin. And he's been practising, always, you know, he's practising all the time. It's the last game of the season, we're in Guernsey. He's probably practising for next April 25th or something like that. And he's telling me, he says, it's spinning, I'm doing well, I'm getting on a length and it's on a line and it's getting good shape and so on, and I beat the outside edge with my drift. I said, that's brilliant, that, Gary. He said, have I missed tea? I said, well, it looks as if everything's gone. The sandwiches, the cakes have gone. He said, well, there's a drink of water there. And it's one of those great dressing room scenes where they're all doing the crossword and sort of cleaning the bath and getting everything, and they've all gone. And to this day, he doesn't know that he dropped the lot of this, not knowing where it'd be. It's brilliant.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, you've had this great result today. It's been really great for you. It's a great lift for English cricket. And I was wondering myself what Geoffrey Boycott would make of it, because he's been a bit on your back this season. But we have found a little bit of tape that you'll enjoy where Geoffrey found the going a little bit tough.
Great overs, number 643.
Right, here's a masterclass in good batting technique. Michael Holding's bowling, I'm batting. Super, kept down, second slip didn't have a chance. 2 balls later, we're getting warmer. Well left, that's good judgment, is that? Now, last ball, you've got your eye in, you're moving your feet, you're seeing it clearly, you're totally in control. Hey up, let that stump go. Well, they're all celebrating, but for me, it's good night Vietnam. Often they'll be laughing at this in 20 years' time.
If you want to succeed in this game, get yourself a coaching manual and tear it up, because that is how much use it is. This is a very, very simple game. As far as bowling is concerned, it's simply a matter of putting it there or thereabouts. Alternatively, you can stick it in the corridor of uncertainty. If you can see that there, Tony. Or better still, you can land it on the spot, which is an ideal place to drop it when you're trying to keep it cat's ass tight in a diarrhea finish situation. Where you don't want to put it is here in cafeteria, because that is help yourself time, and that, my friend, is an automatic 4 penneth. Where you must never ever put it, under any circumstances at all, is here in the slot, or as our West Indian friends call it, Tobacco Road. Obviously now the powers that be have banned cigarette advertising, we've had to rename it Ferncroft Avenue.
Now, one of the great enigmas for England batsmen this season, indeed for any batsman, has been how to read Shane Warne's bowling. Let's face it, being up against a good spin bowler is like forgetting your jockstrap. You know the balls will bounce, but you haven't a clue where they'll end up. Now, we've got some good examples of Shane Warne on film, and to help us, we need someone who knows a good film when he sees one. Please welcome Barry Norman.
I'm going to, when I rang Barry about this afternoon, and I said, coming down, there'll be a ticket for the test match, and he was giving it all, I don't get out of bid for less than £10,000. And so, but that ticket turned out to be quite a good one. You were there this afternoon.
Well, I was already out of bed, so it was okay, yeah.
You're a cricket nut as well, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's my passion, much more than movies, much more than anything else.
Really? More than movies?
Oh, yeah, it always has been.
Now, what we've got now is we've got 3 great examples of Shane Warne, bowling to Robin Smith, and this is the Shane Warne challenge. I want you guys to predict which way the ball's going to spin. We've got a top wicketkeeper, top coach, great batsman, and Barry. Now, first ball. Here we go.
Nicest thing, Rory.
Here we go. Watch his hand. Watch his hand now. It's going to pitch about middle and off stump.
Googly. No, obvious googly.
Going in.
Googly, you think? I reckon it's going to be a leg break. Let's have a look. Yeah. Comes back in and then. There we go. Well, Barry read that correctly. Was that out? Would you give that not out?
It's for English, he's not out, is he?
All right, number 2, here we go. Again, unfortunately, the batsman's Robin Smith having a bit of a hard time with Shane Warne. And he's coming in again. I don't know what he's going to do here. It's Shane Warne, slow run up. Watch that hand again. And this is going to pitch about middle stump. What's happening?
Flipper. Legger.
It's going towards here.
Okay, well there we go. Let's have a look. So we think leg break. David Lloyd says it's a leg. It's going away. And so it does. That turns a long way. Very long way. That's a classic leg break.
Dip in, drift in, legger.
Okay, we'll try the third one there. Let's try and sort this out.
That was my Adam Hollyoake impersonation.
Right, going for double or quits. Okay, last one. Warne again. Smith again, unfortunately. And it's Shane Warne to bowl.
Flipper. That's the flipper.
Flipper. See it setting in his hand just as he set off. That's a flipper.
And it goes low. It's going to come straight on and low and probably hit Robin's pad. And it goes bang. And that's plumb.
It's what he was setting in his hand before he set off walking in. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty impressive. You picked them all, actually. I think you're a bit smart there. So actually, we've got an England coach who knows his job. He's going to actually, and I think we're going to award you a special prize here because we have got Pod is with us, the great Dave Podmore, ladies and gentlemen. Right, and well, you don't know, he is actually
terrific.
Hang on to that. That'll be worth money in a couple of years.
I've got it. I've got this collection now. That's wonderful.
It's Pod's benefit year, by the way, and this is a very signed Pod photograph for you, David. And for the loser, I'm
consolation
afraid.
prize, Your Grace, just to tighten up your wicket-keeping skills.
Oh my God!
Just got
there's a bit of weakness for you. You've got to test it for Jack. This
How long's that been in there?
Well, he's going to tell you actually. So
about 13 minutes.
That's
the top
end. Even down.
It's not even down. We reckon it probably needs about another minute, which means that Pod can tell us what's happening for the rest of his benefit year. You got a few events lined up for us?
Yeah, no, as I say, obviously I've got black tie potato pie supper coming up next week. We'll get the tombola will be done, I very much hope, by Desert Orchid's brother. And then I've got a couple in September, a couple of celebrity dog racing nights. Hopefully they'll be hosted by one of the Grumbleweeds, so that'll be a lot of fun. And then November I'll be doing another black tie bungee jump with Judith Chalmers.
So look out for that. Okay, £75 a head, that's Pod's benefit. If you can all contribute, it's going to make it a great year for him. Well, sadly, the ghost of Dickie Bird's light meter has beaten us once again. My thanks to Pod, to my guests, Jack Russell, Barry Norman, David Lloyd and Colin Cowdrey. I'm the Nawab of Pataudi. Good night.